Hey everyone, welcome back to Iron Bay Research. This is episode 14. I think last time we were talking about your career changes when we moved from Georgia.
No, we were talking about first time home buying.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah,
We were
yeah.
talking about first time home buying. So now we're back in. I feel like I'm not in the shot. There we go. So now we're, hold on.
Yeah, we need to fix that a little bit. Other way. Yeah. There we
Excuse us on that one. So we just bought a home off what you were making, the stability. And
Yeah.
then now, this is my first time actually applying for a big person job.
Yeah, because why did we do that? I think because you had the disability, which we talked about, and you had your GI Bill, and you were taking summer classes. Did you just feel like because you didn't really have to work, you just wanted to?
Yeah,
When did that decision come in? Did you just felt like you had a lot of time on your hands and you wanted the extra income and you could do it?
I guess I never really thought about it. There's just, you just do it. Like, it wasn't, there's just, you eat, you sleep, and you go to work. It wasn't ever really like,
It felt natural that you're like, okay, let me get a job now that we're like settled into our life.
Yeah, and I think with the military too, I was just so ready to hit the ground running. I just wanted to be busy.
You were gung ho.
I was just like, I felt like I was behind the curve.
Sure.
So like, yeah, I was doing a lot, but to be honest, I mean, you say what you will, college is kind of easy. It was really just the hours spent going.
Yeah. And it's funny, if anyone's been like following us in these episodes, we talked in a previous episode how I'm inherently lazy. So when I was, working and doing things and like grinding, that was a lot for me because I like my chill time.
Yeah.
So that question stems from
You want
someone lazy, like an outsider looking in. You did just like grind for 4.5, 5 years in the military, and you were doing school while you're in the military. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, as his partner, I was assuming that you would just do school, you had your disability, and chill for like a year or two because we were fine and able to sustain.
Yeah.
So I assumed you were going to take that break, but Bryce didn't because you're a crazy and just never like to have downtime.
Yeah.
I like to chill on the couch. Bryce does not. So.
I don't like downtime, and I've always had like a thought. I'm just like, it's great that you're working. It's great that I was getting the GI Bill money. It's great that I was getting disability, but
don't take advantage.
Like
of it.
those things are only advantages if you put them on top of you working.
That makes sense.
If I didn't work, then I'm no longer an advantage. It's just.
That is your work.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So for it to be an advantage, they needed to be a plus.
Yeah, it had to be compounding with that too, and
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense.
I felt really. Anyone in the military would get it. You were really stifled, and you just feel like you weren't getting.
Ready to like.
Yeah, you're not gonna get ahead. I'm like, let's get to work, and plus too,
Cool.
I'm looking at jobs now that I can apply for, and we'll get to that shortly. And the money was good.
Sure.
So I had a TS clear, a top secret clearance at this point in time, and a buddy of mine was. So no, not a buddy of mine. But I was looking at work, and I was infantry, so there's zero crossover for work.
And we talked about this a little bit before with Bryce's back injury and him transitioning into a more admin position, like 6 months before he got out of the military.
Yeah.
Actually benefited him at this time when we were writing his resume. I remember I helped you write your resume, and it was great that you were able to add that experience on top of your infantry because I think that opened more opportunities to you.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of good stuff, and even on the TS side. So like, I was new. This is my first time applying, and so I didn't know where to start. And so I was like, well, I've got a clearance, so I'm gonna just look at that.
Yeah.
And
luckily, I had some experience with that.
Yeah.
So did your older sister with like, if anyone who's worked for the government or has like a clearance knows that there's like certain sites like clearancejobs.com and USAjobs.com, things like that.
Yeah, USA Jobs was what I was working.
So you get experienced with the tools.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
No, that's right. Yeah, I hit those sites, and I didn't really know what to look for. I wasn't like super confident what I could do, so I looked at just security.
Sure.
Which is funny because when you type in security, what comes up is security analysis, which is actually stock investing, which is
what you do now.
Kind of funny.
10 years later.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't want that. I want security, like, to standard, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't know.
You know what I do remember, though? Actually, I do remember there was a thought process and a conversation behind you wanting to do and seeking out just, like, no offense to anyone that does do security, but, like, more of a physical job rather than a mind job because you were already doing school. So you wanted something that didn't, like...
wasn't super
intense, like, in that
draining,
way.
Yeah.
You could just make money and
just punch the clock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's more what you were looking for. You weren't looking to add, like, stress to your life, but you were looking for a paycheck and something that you felt like not that security is easy, but to you, for someone who's experienced...
I mean, it kind of is. And
yeah.
If you disagree, you're kind of lying to yourself, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
I'll let you say it.
It was a fucking cushy job, like, a title. But anyway, so I found a job that it was... You had to have a TS clearance, and then they'll get you the TS Poly, which is, like, the higher rank... Yeah, full scope Poly, which is, like, the higher rank clearance, one of the highest ones.
Where you have to go through, like... 2 iterations of 4-hour intense lie detector interviews.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, you're vetted pretty intense.
Yeah, but the pay was good. It was, I mean, good at that point in time. Yeah. I think it was like $25 an hour for 2 months while they train you. And then after that, it bumped to, what was it? Was it 90 a year?
And this
it was a lot, yeah.
This kind of ties into our previous conversation of having to do the ship jobs just to get something in the, like, there has to be a motivator, and I think that's what weighed into Bryce's decision. Is the pay was decent, but the full scope Poly was very sought after in the DC area with the TS clearance. So the fact that he was able to gain that on their expense would have opened massive horizons.
Oh yeah, I mean,
because at that time you were thinking that was your career path. Little did we know that you decided that.
Well, put it in retrospect, that same job I think would pay. I'm probably getting these numbers wrong. Probably 15. It was armed security. Yeah. That same job without any clearances probably pays 15 to 20.
Dollars an hour.
Yeah, with the TS Poly, I think it was paying like 40 to 45 an hour. So that's, and it was overtime, and it was like,
so making almost 6 figures doing a security gig.
Yeah, it was
just because of the clearance.
Yeah, it's like the same job.
Area. Yeah.
It was 12-hour shifts. So I was like, hell yeah, this sounds good.
Yeah, sure.
So I applied for that, got in, did the training, and it was kind of a breeze because I went from, doing special operations to doing this job where they're like taking you through the basics of everything.
And you knew it, yeah.
So it was nice though, because actually one of the trainers, he was a Ranger guy from 2nd Battalion, which is up in Washington State, and so me and him hit it off pretty well.
Bryce is a similar unit.
Yeah, from the military. I didn't know him; he was an older guy, but me and him hit it off. And a lot of the people there, they were like, a lot were ex-cop, ex-military, ex-jail guards. It was like they're pulling from the same group of people.
So you kind of felt like you got that camaraderie, brotherhood thing again.
Yeah, it was a nice transition, I think, for me mentally to like not totally cut the ropes. I kind of dipped my toe back and then I wore a little bit. It's hard to transition. So, but that was good. I think mentally it was nice to have a job that paid well. We were looking good with the money.
So that just added like $5,000 more to our monthly. So the previous episode we were saying everything we were pulling in was about $8,500 monthly. We were talking about our debt to income. Which was probably 6-ish.
Yeah.
Based on our lending process, but anyways, so here we were only 24 at the time.
Yeah.
And we just bought our first house, and we were pulling in like $15,000 a month.
Yeah, we were.
No, not 15. Sorry, like 13.
Yeah, we were stacking checks.
So we were very comfortable at that time.
Oh yeah, we were like we went from like scrubbing by for like ramen noodles and not having money to like
in the military,
holy shit, we have commas now.
Within a year and a half.
Yeah.
Was cool. Yeah.
It was a huge bump, but
so that was great.
Yeah, it was really good, and I liked the job, and I didn't think anything really of it. I was like, okay, this makes sense. But then halfway through, actually no, so near the end of training, one of the guys, he reached out to me. I forgot what his name was, but he had found this program with Amazon Web Services. He was like, hey, look at this. And it was And he's like, I talked to them. This is legit. And what it was a program by Amazon where they would find people. And so the data centers, to work in the data centers, like to be like an IT technician, you need to have a clearance. Well, Amazon found it cheaper to train up people with the top secret clearance with the polygraph, which I just now had. It was cheaper to find those guys and train them up in IT than to get IT guys their clearances.
Yeah.
And so
because when you don't have your clearance, companies have to pay the government an extensive amount of money to do these background investigations on you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it is, like you said, it does make sense.
Well, it's better the cost and the timing too.
Yeah,
because like everyone needs to get a clearance off of the government, but if you just need it like Amazon, you're kind of in the bottom of the list to get approved. And it can take like years, like a while.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just it's easier for them. So he hit me up. I looked into it. I was like, holy shit. And the pay jump was like 120 or 150. I can't remember.
It was insane. I remember it being like, you would start at 120, and like if you made it through the program, you'd be bumped up to like 180 with all like your Amazon assets and stuff.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to about the smoke and mirrors.
But I mean, if you're looking at the trajectory, I mean, my income doubled when I left the military to security, and now it's about to double again. And it was just like
within like a year and a half.
Yeah, it really hit me with like a holy shit. This is too good to be true. And so like the red flags were coming up. Like what's the cat? Like, I was like I didn't think that was possible because I didn't have a degree yet.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, this like I wasn't told this was possible. And so we absolutely talked to Kara about it long and hard, and I was like,
because you just finished your security training, and we were raised where we're like, you don't burn bridges, you stick to your commitments. So we were like, is it okay to jump that early? We were feeling weird about it. Should you just commit to the security?
I felt extremely guilty. But then the more I looked at it, I was like, you know what?
Especially because you did get your full scope poly. Like, it went through, Bryce got approved, he did all that, and then you were just going to bail, and it was like, ugh.
Yeah, like I felt guilty, but I was like, fuck it. You know, just...
Yeah, I mean, if someone's dangling an opportunity to double your income, especially at the age of 24, like, that, like, sets your life up for...
Yeah, I would have been...
you have to.
It would have been crazy not to.
The next time you would have doubled your income would have been, like, probably 10 years later at, like, 34.
Oh, yeah.
So, you have to do it. There's no way.
Yeah. And it was perfect, too, because actually, there was 2 training spots in the country. One was in Seattle. No, it wasn't. I don't know where it was, but there was one on the West Coast, and the other one happened to be literally 15 minutes away from where we bought our house.
Yeah.
It was funny because I was like, holy shit, like this is like a max.
Crazy.
Like the guy I was talking to, he was commuting from Maryland.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah, it's a no-brainer.
And only like 15 people were selected. So it's like if you got selected.
Yeah, I was like.
You had doubled your income, and now you're only driving 15 minutes away when your current job was an hour commute because it was in Fairfax.
It was an absolute no.
So it's like, you gotta jump.
Yeah, so did that. And if you know me, I hate IT. And I'll kind of get into this later, but I can't fucking stand it. I was like, I can learn.
Yeah.
And so I felt really guilty, but we'd finished the training, gotten the polygraph, and then we were getting assigned our locations, and I called the manager, and I was like, hey, I hit him. I was like, hey, like I'm taking different jobs. And he was pissed. He was like, where are you going? And I was honest, like I'm going here, and I told him, like, and he was like, well, why? I was like, the pay was just too much to say no.
Yeah,
sure. I was like, you guys put up with this. It'd be wrong for me to tell you.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And so, I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but I was like, I'm not gonna...
No, I think you handled it perfectly, and of course they are going to be pissed. That's...
I'm sure the turnover there is
reaction.
hard. I mean, half the people in the class were saying, I'm here to get the TS Poly.
Yeah.
So it's just
and then applying elsewhere.
Like, I'm not the only one.
Yeah, sure.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
But I guess going back to that, too, is... we've got a buddy that lives in the Northern Virginia area, and just talking about the clearances, and it's a brutal job, but if you want to work that world, I think it's very appropriate to just, like we said, work a shit job for a year to get the clearance. I mean, if you want to go do it, like, there are jobs that will sponsor, but you have to do a crappy job that you don't want to do, but it doesn't matter. Just do it, get the clearance and bounce.
That conversation we had a couple episodes ago with building a resume, applying for jobs out of college. The risk versus reward, that's something that you need to weigh is, yeah, this job's shit, but it's probably temporary, and what's the end goal? It's to get XYZ,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, what is college? It's not a 4-year resume builder.
Yeah, that's it.
It's the same damn
and
thing.
It's not even a guarantee, yeah, so.
Yeah, and they're not, you have to pay to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but anyway, so you went into your IT job.
Yeah.
That was kind of how it segued. And this is still only 2 months after we moved into our house. So we moved into our house in May. Bryce's semester finished. He was doing like 2 summer classes.
I think it was like October when I started.
You went through security. No, it wasn't. You were still. It was like you did security in the month of June, and I remember it was summer, July and August. You were getting your A plus, Network plus. And then September, October was when you got placed, and that's when you.
Yeah. So this was like a 7-month period after I left the military. It was very.
That's the point I'm making. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, but the point I'm making is your security and Amazon Web Services was a 4-month time period. Like you trained on that, hopped, you trained on IT, and then what happened?
Well, I think the IT is like that's a whole long story there too.
Yeah.
So I've got the Sec Plus.
No, you didn't get Sec Plus.
Yeah,
you got it. No, you didn't, because I have that one, and you did not get that one.
I think I got C Plus.
You got A plus.
A plus.
It's called Network Plus, and then there's one other one that's in the A plus category that I forget.
I swore I got Sec Plus, dude.
You did not, because I studied on that for 6 months, which we'll get to.
Anyways, I suck at IT. I can't even set a damn remote. So but no, I ground through it. I did it, and did the training. Met a lot of good people. A lot the same thing. They were all ex-military, so it was still kind of getting like a nice transition.
You met some really good friends.
Yeah, and I got to see the data centers, and I'll be honest with you, this was I knew it. I knew I was not gonna like the job, but I was like, the pay is so much, I have to do it.
Right. But
then. It was near the end of the training, 2 months, where it just hit me like a sack of bricks. We started doing some actual days on the job of just this is what your actual day is going to be like. And it was, I hated it. Sure. I was just and I might have been, I might sound unreliable and shaky, but it's one of those I think everyone understands is you don't know what a job is until you do it. You don't know.
No, and if that's what makes someone shaky, is if you hate something. Why would you want an employee that hated their life? Yeah. You're always thinking they're going to bail. So it's good that you got a little purview into what the job was going to be before you had to fully commit.
Yeah, which is great that they did that. So it was everyone else was getting it, and I was just I had passed the classes, but I just couldn't put that into a functional use.
Yeah, you got all the certs, which I remember it was super impressive what you did. You got 3 certifications within a month and a half, not knowing anything about IT. And those that are familiar with IT, I mean, Network Plus, A Plus, and the other one you got are the 2 basic, what's the company? CompTIA certs.
Yeah, CompTIA, that's right,
But the Network Plus, that's no joke. It usually takes people with experience of 10 plus years to get those certs. And
it was a nightmare.
You got them all 3 within a month, so it was very impressive what you did.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, getting to the job.
Well, I felt good. I was I'm testing it. I'm gonna know, but then you realize studying and test is not the job, and it was just
sure.
I'm sure if I tried, I would have gotten there, but you hate a job, you hate it. I was those 8-hour days seemed just forever.
Bryce and I have this running joke now because we've moved and shaped so many jobs within our past 10 years. We call it the itis. Once you know that you hate a job and you're ready to leave.
Yeah, so
you're done.
The itis hit me like a brick wall. It just I think it was within a week. I was just I'm gonna do it.
Senioritis, but
but
worse.
It was I'm gonna make some money and then just zoop. This sucks. And I remember I was just
you were it's not worth any money.
Yeah.
You were even if I was getting paid $300.
Yeah, it's funny because we talked about that. They could double my pay. Yeah. And I would be I'm not interested. Which is which is crazy, but I think that goes back to we were doing well. We still need to work, but I could be a little picky. But also too, it's just I used to be of the mindset of just do a job that pays the most and just get through it. And I was in my mind, I had already done the suck, and so I was you know what, I can kind of find something I want to do. But at the end of the day, if you aren't at least somewhat passionate about what you're doing, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I hated this so much.
Sure.
So I remember I was really self-conscious talking to your dad about it because from my point of view, I was just like, you know, this dude just got out of the military, and I just quit one job for security. And then, you know, a month ago we bragged to him. I was like, oh, I got this job. This is going to pay buku bucks.
My dad is a very proud person in a nice way. Like, he likes to gloat about, like, your achievements.
Yeah, and I got some, like, I'm just
And he was gloating around about Bryce, and then a month later, Bryce was like, I'm quitting.
I just quitting jobs left, and I'm just a chump. So, yeah, I was really self-conscious talking to your parents about that. Even more so than my parents, really. I was really self-conscious because I felt like, from a parent's point of view, like a dad is like, oh, this asshole was like fucking having his wife go to work and just sit at home.
My parents knew Bryce wasn't that type of person.
Yeah, I was like,
it was an unfortunate turn of events.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I was like, I just need to reset, and so I got the itis, did the same thing. Oh, and then the breaking point for me was when before we started the job, we had a meeting with HR. And again,
at Amazon.
Yeah, this is all very new to me, and they finally told us how the pay broke down. And in hindsight, you know, you could look back and say, oh, this was a mistake. But you don't know. They told us that, okay, the pay is broken up into two. Half of it was in cash. Like, actual paycheck.
So only like $70K. Yeah. Not the $150 that they said.
The other half was in stock that was locked up for like 4 years.
So they like lied to you. But remember they said within that 4 years, if you change job roles, the 4 years reset and you couldn't access it. So it was like really shady what they were doing. They hooked all these guys with their clearances, said, oh, we'll pay you like $150K plus. Yeah. And then they were like, actually, we're only paying you $70 actual salary. And it was really fucked up.
Yeah, and I remember we got mad because there was a meeting and then like,
you guys were all really upset.
Yeah, like the HR person was getting frustrated because I called her out. I was like, this is smoke and mirrors. Like nowhere on the ad or anywhere and on any of these sign-on pamphlets did it say that.
No, they knew what they were doing and they did it on purpose.
That's a big fucking difference.
Yeah.
And in hindsight you could say, oh, well, the stock's doubled. It doesn't matter. The point is you were lying.
Yeah.
And she didn't like the comment. I told her, I was like, this is not truthful. She's like, there's nothing untrue about this. She's like, it makes sense. Like, it doesn't matter if it makes sense. We weren't told. Yeah. It's a massive difference for saying, hey, I'm going to pay you, you know, this much money versus I'm going to pay you half, and the other half, you only get it in 4 years with a whole bunch of contingencies. Yeah. That is a massive difference. Yeah. And
that's making me mad just
and so that was just like, I'm done. And I remember after that meeting, I talked to the manager that day. I was like, I'm done. Yeah. Because I was on the fence about it for 150, and I was like,
they said like all the training and testing and certs cost like a total of $2,500. So if you backed out within like 90 days, you'd have to pay that back. And Bryce was like, you died on that hill. You were like, no, you guys lied. I'm not paying that. And they never charged us.
Yeah, the guy was like, you have to pay this. I was like, fucking make me.
Because you lied.
Like, come get it. Like, I'm not writing you a check. Yeah, I was just like, I was like, yank my clearance. I don't care.
So your new job became.
I just had like a stubborn. I wanted to die there. I was like, I felt lied to, and I was like,
well, you were.
To be honest, I was really over being lied to by employers.
Yeah.
And like that came from the military a little bit, but I was like, no, like it wasn't honest. It wasn't truthful.
You know what it felt like to you? I remember you saying it brought you back to your lower enlisted days where you were just a private in the military and you got told it felt like they were preying on all you know, dumb military guys. Yeah. And we'll get them and then we'll just fuck them after. And that's really shady. And I think you guys had every right to be upset. I know a lot of your friends stayed, but it was two of you that quit after that meeting.
Yeah, I don't know who the other guy was.
I remember it was someone who was like, no, screw that too. I'm out.
Yeah, because I was just felt very
a lot of the other guys had moved across the country to be in
That's
this
the
program.
Crazy part.
Remember, they moved from Seattle.
Yeah, people had families that were moving, and it's just like, that was
And then they told them, actually, your salary is only like $70K in the D.C. area. Yeah. Which is wild.
Which is like, at the end of the day, like, you need...
That's actually
having retirement is great, but you need cash on hand to pay for shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you really do. And I don't remember the exact mix of cash and stock options, but it was definitely like at least 30-40% was stock options, which is a massive amount. Yeah. Because I think it ended up being under 6 figures versus like 150.
Because it's like, if you're going to cash out in 4 years that stock that they made available to you, whatever the stock is at that 4 years, which is also a gamble, even though it's a good investment, you still need to be able to sustain your lifestyle. And if you banked moving your family, sustaining your lifestyle in the DC area on $150K, and now you're being told your salary is only $70.
No way.
There's no way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And like you can't borrow money. You can't take a home loan.
Yeah, that's so bad.
So it was just.
Anyways.
Yeah. So
Amazon Web Services.
Yeah. So I told them, I was like, I'm done.
No way, no. That was bad.
And they were like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
That one I didn't feel bad about. That one was like.
Screw
I wasn't
you.
right.
Yeah.
And then I took it out on the training company. I was like, fuck you, I'm not paying you the money.
Yeah, for sure.
I think this episode is making me like a really shitty person. I just feel like, but it's
maybe we'll cut it. We'll sprinkle.
It'll lead somewhere, but the point is, I get how hard it is to find let alone find a job and then it end up being what you thought it was.
Yeah.
It's really difficult.
I think maybe it's showing that for those, that have been through this, it's like, you really have to look out for yourself, And I think Bryce and I struggle with this, and I think I've led on in our past episodes that I struggle with. I'm loyal to a fault. I'm too committed, and sometimes I have, I don't know that I've been taken advantage of. I've had really good bosses. I think I've just been lucky having amazing bosses that have always giving me raises when it's appropriate.
I think you've definitely been exposed to be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
That sounds really weird, but
because of my personality. Because
I
am loyal to a fault. And I just have this ideal. And I remember definitely being concerned when you were like, I'm just really unhappy. And I don't think, because Bryce's personality, you are he's always going to make it work. So I never in my mind was like, oh God, I'm worried for him and I'm worried for us. I was just like, he's just figuring it out.
I mean, I was still doing school, damn near full time. It was 12 credits, I think.
I just felt sad that you kept feeling rug pulled. It just wasn't working.
I think I was getting a little emotional because I got out and then it was it was 2 jobs that just didn't work out. And
sorry, if you want to segue, because the timeline goes, I'm about to make a jump, and I was an asshole, so misery loves company. If you want me to be an asshole for a second, I'm happy to do that before you get into your house flipping, and then we'll end the episode.
Yeah.
So this.
Well, I don't want to rush it. I have everything time-wise.
It's not going to rush. Yeah. Do you have any more to add on the AWS thing?
No, I forgot too though that before I quit, we were looking at what I was gonna do afterwards. Yeah. But we can jump to your thing.
But yeah, in the meantime, so actually no, it was within a month or two, around the same time period that Bryce was quitting AWS, my clearance came through. If you remember from one of our previous episodes, we weren't sure. It was kind of a Hail Mary for Bryce's dad to see if he could get me a clearance through his contracting company, because we weren't sure if it was going to be looked at as a nepotism type of thing. Yeah. Because we had the same last name and it was obvious he was my father-in-law. But the government was like, yeah. So I got a secret clearance, which was great. Not as high as Bryce's clearance was at the time yet. And I was just kind of letting it sit until we got news, because your dad was able to just hold it until I was ready. Because I wanted to stay, like I said, loyal to a fault. I had this thing in my mind where I was like, for my resume and my commitment, I need to make sure I'm at this engineering job for at least a year. You know, because I didn't want to. I was.
That's 100% irrelevant now.
Yeah, I know, right? Now I'm like, irrelevant. I should have just. But I did. Anyways, I was only there for 6 months, and I was like,
I felt like it was longer.
No, I was only there for 6 months.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and then I started it in February, and I left in November or something like that. So a little longer. Maybe
I feel like there's licking noises.
No, they never hear it. Whenever I head it back, you always comment, and you can't hear it.
Eddie's licking my toes right now. I was worried you'd hear it.
No, I don't think you can.
Yeah.
But anyways. So yeah, loyal to a fault. I was letting my clearance sit for a little bit until I hit that year mark, right? Mm-hmm. And then we got news that Bryce's dad was selling the company, and there was bad blood in the water with the sale, and they were just gonna kick everyone off. They were not gonna hold my clearance anymore. The new company. So I was like, shit. If someone's not holding your clearance for a certain amount of time, it becomes inactive.
Yeah.
And basically, you're not as sought after if you need to reactivate your clearance because it costs a little money, right?
It's a process.
So I was like, crap, let me find a job that I can use my clearance with. Now I have to job hop.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because I really liked my company. I thought I was in it for the long haul. It was a small company, like mom and pop engineering firm with only like 50 employees.
Yeah.
And so they were looking to like elevate me and about my future. And so, yeah, I felt like shit. And I had a family friend that were like, hey, you can take this position. We have Ken.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
And it just requires secret clearance and a degree, and it's technical writing.
Nice.
Right? And I was like, yeah, I'm decent at writing. You know, a lot of my major involved like English and stuff like that. I wrote a lot, I remember. So I was like, yeah, I mean, I can dig that. And like I said, first reward, I was like, whatever. I'm only making $40,000 now at my engineering firm, and they offered me, just with my degree and no experience and my clearance, they were like, we'll pay you $60K.
Yeah.
So here I was like, oh shit, I can bump up $20,000. You know.
And it was closer too.
And
right?
it was closer too. My commute was cut by like 20 minutes.
It was significantly closer, yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of a no-brainer, but they
were
like,
a bit more like room.
Yeah, but I got this call on a Monday saying like, it's yours, but we need you to start next Monday in a week. And again, I was like, that's so rude of me to not get my 2 weeks. I was feeling like crap because I really like these people. But I was like, I just have to look out for me. They were like dangling this in front of me, and they were like, but we need you here on Monday. And I was like, So I talked to my boss, and I told her the situation. I was like, I'm really sorry, I'm out. And this is my last week. Like, not even 2 weeks. And she was so understanding, and they were so nice. So I just got things set. And called it a day and moved to my other job making $60,000. So I got a $20K bump within.
And this
6
was
months.
on Fort Belvoir contracting.
This was on Fort Belvoir contracting, So it was great. So I think that kind of also me getting a $20K bump helped us and Bryce kind of finding himself career-wise, because I was like, now we're even better because I have 20 extra K coming in yearly. So you can take your time to find yourself because now we're still okay.
So I feel like not even including what I was making, we were pulling in like what, $150?
Yeah, about.
Oh, and this is when my disability bumped up too.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about that yet.
Oh, geez, probably save it for next time.
Yeah, we will. So next time, before we wrap it up, next time we will talk about disability, real estate, how we finally started our endeavor, because then things start to smooth over. So this episode was. We had a very hectic 6 months of job hopping. After we bought our first home, we were just trying to like make money, burning bridges. So, but I mean, it is what it is. You have to look out for yourself, and
it's not even like selfish in a bad way. It's just like they would do the same. It's not selfish. It's just like it's human.
No, it is selfish, but you have to do it. Like it's
not
bad.
I guess like it's not selfish in a bad way.
It is selfish, but it's not.
People should look at it as like it's down upon it.
Yeah.
Like no, you'd be fucking high not to do that.
No, for sure.
Because the thing is too, at the end of the day, it's like.
If the company needs to make a cut.
They're gonna fire you, and they're gonna tell you, hey, you're gone today. And I think people are realizing that now. Because I feel like older generation there's a bit more of like no, like I hear it a lot. You be loyal. But then nowadays there's no loyalty, and which I agree with.
I kind of love that about the who's behind us, Gen Z and millennial. About like the Gen Z and millennial.
Gen X,
like
younger people.
I hear older generations in the workplace complaining about the millennial and Gen Z people coming in and wanting work-life balance, demanding all these things, and I love that out of our generation. I think it's awesome that they're demanding that. And I think they should. It's like, if you want me, it's like, okay, I'll work for you for your shit pay and this and that, but I'm gone in a second as soon as it. But if you want employee retention, these are the things you need to do.
Well, I'd say too, like
keep people happy.
Like I'm like a hardcore capitalist, but I 100% agree that there's a pay disparity between what you make in today's world and what things cost versus what was 30, 40 years ago.
For sure.
Like that is just blatantly in the face. So it's like I think back in the day they call it the social contract, is that? I don't know. The social contract of, hey, I worked for you for 30, 40 years, you promote me, I live a good life, then I get a pension. that's gone.
Yeah.
And so you have to look up for yourself because,
do.
like, you almost not even have to look up for yourself. You have to think the other person's trying to fuck you.
Yeah.
You almost have to think, like, this employer is trying to fuck me in every way they can.
Yeah.
And that's just, like, almost the most appropriate way to look at it. And it's like, because if you don't, you're going to get screwed.
Yeah, no, sure.
It's
and
just,
that's my problem, and something that I'm happy that, you know, I kind of just hop on your bandwagon because you are more of that mind, and I've learned from you. I probably could have been taken, like you said, advantage of more so if I didn't have your insight. If I was just on my lonesome, I probably would just stick it out because that's just, I don't like to shake it up.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't like to burn bridges. It's like anxiety inducing for me.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I do really appreciate that about you. I think that's helped a lot. But yeah, hopefully you keep watching us and don't think that we're assholes after this episode.
So this is where it slowly gets into investing, where we've been wanting to get to. It's like, I promise this is leading somewhere. I just feel like the backstory is important.
It is important because it's like, how did we lead up to, you know, and I think this is our personalities are shifting where we're like, you know, I don't know. I think I need to think on this for next episode. You know, why did we prioritize money in our lifestyle versus, you know, travel and other things? Like, I don't know that we ever talked about it. We just did it. I don't know.
Well, I know for me, 100%, I was over traveling. Like, I wanted to, like, have to have a home, and I wanted to, like, be somewhere for a while. And then I also knew, too, I wanted to build something. I don't know if that makes sense, but, like, I wanted to build something for us, for, like, the future generations. Like, I really, like, I saw the vision I wanted.
And I think for me, playing off of that is, I'm a bit of more of a follower mindset. I'm not a natural leader. I think I can lead if people look to me for like, not necessarily direction, but like on how, like a good role model type of thing. But I'm just not I don't take charge type of person in that way. So I think it worked for us and me because like I didn't have a vision like that for my life. I was just like, these are things you do, and if you work hard, success will come from it. But the fact that you had like a life vision for yourself, I was like, oh, I'll just go along with that. Sounds great. Because I never really was like, oh, I'm going to travel, I'm going to do this. I was just like, I don't know, I just didn't think like that. I was just like, get a job, get married, buy a house, you know. So the fact that you had a vision, I was like, ooh, yeah, that's exciting. Like, I'll jump on that. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's like adding a, what's it saying? It's like, if you don't know where you're sailing, no wind is favorable. I forgot where the hell I read that. I think it might have been like a load screen in the game.
Sure. So that's me. Yeah, like I knew what you were saying was good. And I was like, it makes sense to me. And so let me just help you create that vision in whatever way that I can. Yeah,
so like for me, so like I guess invertibly, like not going on vacation and not doing these things put more money in our pocket to prep to build.
For sure.
So like it was like I wasn't just not going on vacation because I was lazy. It was just like in my mind it was like me not doing this was giving me a benefit for later. And so it was easy to postpone those things.
And I just don't recall longing for a week vacation. I never longed. Like when we had our downtime, we enjoyed it and we chilled.
Well, I think we also came back, like we were back with our high school friends who we're all very close to, and like we're back. I mean, we were gone for a while. So we had
a fun time.
Yeah, like I was seeing my family again because like your family's local, my family's in the area. And so like I didn't want to go anywhere. I just wanted to see people.
We really enjoyed where we were, and we were like, this can last however long it lasts because we're loving it. So that's true. We had really good friends, and that was a really fun year. I mean, a lot of change in our jobs and stress in that way. But I think the fact that with our family and our my nephew was born that year, so we got some baby loving. We just had all the good things. Great.
So I don't think vacation or stopping even crossed our mind.
No, sure.
It didn't cross mine for sure. So.
So I think that was an action-packed episode. Sorry about that, but it'll be more slow moving because a lot happened in that year. I remember.
Yeah, I thought we just rattled off a decade.
We did, but that literally all happened in 5 months. So now we stay at what we're about to do for a little bit longer, and it's a little bit chiller.
Yeah, so we'll chill.
So we can talk about...
Chill by not switching.
Yeah, so we can talk about when we do get into the real estate thing. We can talk more specifics investment-wise.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
And the decision-making that went into that.
Definitely.
So, do you want to close this out?
Yeah. Well, hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we are looking forward to talking to you guys next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this and want more, subscribe or comment below. We'll see you here next time on Iron Bay Research. Bryce and Kara signing out.